get right into it.
Subscribe to the channel.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't do it in the other one.
So good.
Yeah.
Shout out to VOGUE.
Right.
Make yourself comfortable.
I haven't seen Cara.
How are you feeling about this interview?
Good. That's a lie. No, I am feeling good. I'm just feeling... It's very vulnerable.
You know, obviously I think this is a really brave step that you're taking. Why was it important to tell your story, and why did you feel this was like the right moment to do it?
She looks healthy.
I've always been someone that believed in being honest. Having this platform, talking about sexuality, talking about mental health, embrace your weirdness, things like that. I believed other people should do that, but I didn't necessarily believe it myself. You know, everyone has been affected by the disease of addiction, whether it's themselves, someone they know. It's so much more complicated than what people make it out to be. It was my first sober Christmas, first sober New Year, and honestly, it was the best I've ever had. So I am happy, I'm grateful, I'm so thankful that this is happening. I have the opportunity to talk about it, but it's scary.
Pause real quick. There was some viral pictures that came out of her like last year, and everybody, like, a lot of people were like, oh, people are always making up stories, because some people were like, oh, she's on drugs, like, heavy.
She's strung out.
And a lot of people were like, oh, people are always making up stories, she's just getting like that for a movie. That's not true. She was really on drugs.
Oh, that's
You want me to look them up real quick?
No.
Oh, okay. But she looked really messed up in the pictures, like really.
Last year was obviously, there was a lot happening in your life professionally and privately. Can you tell me a little bit about everything leading up to September?
It was pretty back-to-back in terms of what I was doing work-wise. That year, I decided, you know, it's my 30th, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go crazy in a fun way. You know, I went to Ibiza for 3 weeks, went to Burning Man, came back to go straight to work, and in that, you know, these pictures were taken.
See?
And everything kind of...
So that wasn't.
I was like, wow, okay.
Wow.
You know, this is bad. At that point, you know, there was a lot of people who were very worried. Understandably
really
so. I wasn't really worried though. You know, it didn't matter how many people around me were like, are you okay? Like, this isn't good, you need help. That didn't matter. But that is the nature of the disease. That is what addiction is. You can't run from the things in your life that happen. That's all I've ever wanted to do, was just pretend they don't exist. Because that would be easier, right? No, it makes it worse because it will catch up with you, it always does. I didn't want to face everything, whether it be my own self-hatred, which is an interesting thing to say because it's not like, wow, woe is me, like my life is hard. It's not. I have a wonderful life. I have a blessed life. But sometimes that doesn't match up to the way you feel about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people rely on their community to intervene.
That's why a lot of people say that some people aren't meant to handle fame or, like, you know, that type of lifestyle. Like,
right, mentally.
Yeah, that's why a lot of artists and all that, you know, unfortunately they die of overdose and all that because they just can't handle that type of lifestyle.
Right.
And, you know, you always hear of famous people talking about
this sounds like a decision you came to yourself. Take me to those first, like, moments where you sort of had that realization. And
I think a lot of times in my past, there's been moments where I've come to a decision myself without really many people going, you need to do something. I've always been such a seeker when it comes to knowing how to self-soothe and tools to use. But this time I wasn't. But that's kind of when you realize how the resistance towards something is really how much more you need it. All I knew is, like, if I was continuing to go down the road I would either end up dead or, like, doing something really, really stupid.
Yeah.
And I think that that was scary.
I'm happy she was
Cara,
able to
I'd love you to sort of
realize
tell us a little bit about your healing and what that's been like and what looking after yourself looks like.
I've always been into, like, a quick fix in terms of I could go to a week retreat or, to go on a course for trauma or do things, and not fully do it, and it's helped for a minute, but it never really kind of gets to the nitty gritty,
What
the
type of
deeper
drugs was
stuff.
she on?
Treatment was
I don't
the
know, I was
best
just
thing.
wondering.
It was always something I was very scared of, but I think
But
I
a lot of
needed that
people,
community.
heard
I
coke
needed that support group.
was in
People
the
do it in
mix.
different ways, but that
That's
was
the only
mine.
drug I heard of.
There was a lot of shame. There was a lot of hatred that in my head I thought was my voice, but it wasn't. It wasn't my shame. I had to like relinquish control to get it back again.
Speaking of, shame, I think the press are quick to exacerbate this idea of shame or jump on it. And how do you navigate that? You've obviously had to deal with a lot of attention from the paparazzi.
I think the way that society deals with healing is dangerous. It's so quick to shame people and use words, and no wonder there's a stigma. If it was just an
Especially
intrigue to
famous
like,
people.
oh, I hope they're okay, that's one thing, but it's not. It makes the whole cycle worse for people going through it. I got hired a lot to talk about and to advocate for things like mental health and for people that are struggling. But wow, when I'm struggling myself, that's not okay. Bye. But that's the business, and it's sad.
Wait, this makes me so happy though. Like seeing how bad she was and how like self-aware she is right now and how she was able to, really hold herself accountable and get out of that path that she was going down. Like it makes me really, 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 really happy. And it makes me think about Lindsay Lohan too, which by the way, she just announced that she's pregnant. So congratulations to her and congratulations to Cara for getting healthy. And to Lindsay too.
Sad to see. That's an important lesson for me. And it's their loss.
So how are you adapting to this new way of living? How are you sitting in it?
I'm enjoying it. It's one of my favorite things to like go out and dance and have a good time, but actually have like deep conversations and connections with people. It's weird. I got back to this house and just everything looked different. It's like it was a new place because I was different. Your life can change if you give yourself a chance to really be who you are and sit in that uncomfortability, because my God, it's uncomfortable for a minute, but it gets better and it's worth it. That's why I find the term recovery quite difficult, because you don't recover. And that's okay. That's why I prefer healing. Because I'm constantly doing that. I feel like, I don't know why I was just imagining my heart with a crutch. That's me. But I'm good on crutches.
Oh, man.
This makes me so happy.
Thank you so much.
The way she was talking,
You could tell that she was really,
Yeah.
really happy and honing in with herself.
no, the way she talking is the type of like,
I think this one, I don't know much about her, but just hearing the story, I think she's lucky, because there's a lot of people in the world who, whatever they do, they can't fight it.
they just can't.
They just
really
can't fight it. So I'm happy that
She sounds very smart.
Yeah, I'm happy that mentally she has the strength to really like be aware, and then not only be aware but heal, as she said.
Yeah,
So,
and actually enjoy the process of healing,
right,
and feeling good within herself.
right.
I don't know, this like everybody goes through stuff, and can't never judge anybody, but I'm really proud of her and how she was able to get out of all that, like I said earlier.
Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what y'all think down in the comment section. Let's get it.